So, before I start my presentation, I would like to say Panganjali Umat, Om Swastiastu. This presentation, I would like to educate to my lecturer. Her name is Dr. Siluh Nyoman Seriadi, SPD, SIJ, MPD. And this presentation or this PowerPoint actually were made by a group from my classmate. And then their name is Lo Adesari Citrawati, Ikadek Mahendra, Ikadek Wirajaya. So thank you for all of you guys to giving me opportunity to do a presentation with your PowerPoint. And then this is my profile. My name is Dewa Ayu, Istri Aricksuy. My NIM number is 21111711073. And my class is PBIC in semester 2. What we will learn today is informal education. What is informal education that we will learn and what we will learn today? Number one, the definition of informal education. Number two, function and the roles of informal education. Number three, the characteristic of informal education. Number four, the type of informal education. Number five, the difference between formal and non-formal or informal education. Number six, the advantage and disadvantage of informal education. Number seven, the example of informal education. And then first, the definition of informal education. Informal education is education that a person obtains with daily experience, consciously or unconsciously, from the time he born to death in his family or daily association. So this informal education is usually learned by the child by what they see, what they learn, what they hear, and then what they do every day. It's a kind of like habits that they do since they're kids into whenever it is. So have you heard before about the one quotes that telling a fruit is fall not far from the tree? This is one quotes that telling you about informal education and how important it is. So the kids' behavior or mental and physical growth is some things that they learn or they develop by whatever their parents doing in their environment. And then next, we will learn about function and roles of informal education. Number one, help improve children's learning outcomes, both formal and non-formal education, as I explained to you before, which is informal education is something that basically need to be learned before they doing a formal education or non-formal education. This is something that's also really need care, because when they do the formal or non-formal education, the informal education is still take a lot of uh, things. I mean, still take a lot of parts when they do formal or non-formal. It's kind of like behavior, as I said before, ethic, religion, and something like that. And then number two, control and motivate children to be more active in learning. This is something that they learn from their parents and environment. When the parents and showing some things like motivate their kids and some things what they said, it becomes input. So whatever output of the parents doing, it becomes an input of the children, and they will remember it and they will implement it into their life as a behavior. Number three, helping children physical and mental growth both from within the family and the environment. This is something that very important for the parents know about informal education, which is they can't push anything about physical or mental growth, but they show them, they teach them, they see how it grows. And then when the children example is still like 5 years, maybe they don't know how to swim yet, they will learn from their parents whenever their parents bring them to the water. Or when your kid is still like 1 years and then they can't walk yet, the parents is the one who need to teach them. And then number 4, shaping the child personality with a method that is tailored to the needs, abilities, and development of the child. As I said, as we know, the personality, the ability, and then the development of the child is something that they learn from their parents or their environment or their relatives. When they see something, they do it, they remember it. As an example, maybe if you have kids, like smaller kids and bigger kids, like when they play together, they see how is their brother or sister doing something, and they remember it, and then they do it as the same as they do. And then this is the important things, how personality was developed into a kids, because when they see and they remember something, they will still remember it for a long time. This is the things that the parents need to know and make sure they watch their kids when they're doing something, so parents can let them know which is the right things and wrong things to do. And then number 5, motivating children to be able to develop their potential or talents as they see or watch what their child's doing or what kind of things they learn. The parents can know what kind of things that they really love, what kind of potential or talents they have inside of them. So this is some things that parents need to develop more. So when you see your kids like to paint something, so their potential things or their potential talents are maybe drawing or painting, so parents know how to deal with it. And then number 6, helping students to be more independent and able to solve the problems they face. This thing is also really important. What I said so, because some of parents probably love much like their kids. They don't want their kids, crying or showing their emotion. Sometimes it be very frustrated because when parents actually means to helping their children, they don't know that it also make their children depends on them. So when you give opportunity to the child to make sure and then face their own problem, then they will learn how to do it. So when they're facing the same problem, they will know how to ensure to let it go. And then next, what we will learn is the characteristic of informal education. Number 1, there are no special requirements that must be complete. Number 2, the students do not need to take certain exams. Number 3, the education process is carried out by the family and the environment. Number 4, there is no specific curriculum that must be implemented. There are no levels in the educational process. The educational process is carried out continuously regardless of space and time. Parents are the teacher for students. There is no clear management in the learning process. So what does all these characteristics mean from informal education? As I explained before, informal education is something or children or learner learn since they are kids, since they are born. So they learn how to eat something, even though for the child, like first they will learn how to drink for the breast, and then how to eat some things like porridge or something like have more texture. So they learn day by day, every day. It's also implement their behavior, their characteristic, and an ethic. When they see their parents doing something, they see how the parents behavior, they will follow it, like because they think that it's the truth, it's something that they need to do, because they learn by doing something that they see. And then there is no specific curriculum. There is no management of the learning process. It is because this informal education is done in their environment, in the house, or their parents. And then parents, they didn't manage everything, like they didn't uh, teach them how to drink today, they didn't teach them how to walk tomorrow. No, it also depends on the development of their mental and psychos of the child. And then there's no level in the educational process. What does it mean? As in formal education, they have the classes, as you know, the first class, second class, third class, fourth class. In informal education, they don't have the class, so they learn whatever new thing in every day, every time, as they see, as they learn, as they see you or their parents doing something environmental. And then social, like it's very important. And then also, it didn't need to take any exam. They didn't show you, or they didn't tell you, or they didn't write down whatever they learned. They learn, and then they'll show how it will be, like when you telling them you need to wash your hands before you eat. Then tomorrow you need to tell them again, and then again and again every day, so they'll remember and they'll make it on behavior. So they didn't have an exam, like they didn't write anything about it, they didn't get the scores. So parents can see their improvement by seeing how they react every day. Next, we will learn about types of informal education. Number one, religion. Number two, character. Three, politeness. Four, moral. Five, socialization. And then six, ethic. There is still some problem that happen in Indonesia, which is after all, like the character, politeness, moral, socialization, ethics, these things were um, doing by the parents. But the religion, so this is the things. When a child was born, they don't know about religion, they don't know what is god is. And then they don't know what is the difference between Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims, Christians or Yahudi. They didn't know anything about that. So this is the part where the parents were taking over. So they teach what they know. So this is make child do something or take the religion not as what they want, but as the parents tell them. This is the things. This is the problems. So I'm sure that maybe when they adult, they have different things to think. They have different their own individual choose. So it will be better if the child, when they are adult, they can choose whatever they believe to. So that's things that we still need to fix in informal education. Sorry. And then now we will learn about difference between formal and informal education. I will read first about informal education. Number one, never been held specifically at school. It could be in at school, as environment, school as environment. They can learn anything anywhere in their environment. They can learn from their teacher, they can learn from their friends, but it's not specifically some things that they do on a class. So a class could be teaching about math, biology, kind of like that, but it's never tell you about behavior, characteristic, ethic. No. And then number two, not held in the first place with the intention of organizing education. As I said before, as we know before, this kind of informal education is not organized by the parents. They just do it by its flow. They just do it by the stage of age. They just do it by the willingness from the kids. And then number three, education is not programmed specifically. Also, as I said, parents didn't know how to program. Like they didn't even think about how to program education in, in home. Like they didn't tell you certain in every month, example, how to do it something in 1 month, and then next things in the second month. They didn't program anything about it, and they didn't expecting any kind of um, grade or scores from whatever they teach in home. And number four, there is no specific study time. So what does it mean? So the child is learn everything every time. What does it mean every time? When they see you doing something, when they see you talking to someone, when they see what is your behavior, they will learn from it. When you tell them to wash their hands before they eat, but you didn't do it, and they will think, is it something right that I do or not? If I do this, why they didn't do it? So they will start thinking like that. And then number five, informal teaching method. Like I said before, it's not something professional. Like every parents have their own way to teach, and it's not systematic, no systematic evaluation, as I say before. Like they didn't give any score, like A or B or C. They just see it from how the kids or the child's doing something, or how is it like their behavior or ethic. Number seven, generally not held by the government. Yeah, parents and environment, as I said, it's not controlled by government. The parents has their own way to teach, and different parents have different way to do it. And then formal education. Number one, it can be held in the school building. Yeah, because formal education, schools like elementary school, junior high school, they have the stage and they have different building. Or if they take non-formal education, they have their own building for doing something. Number two, it was held for the benefit of the administration of education. As I said before, if it's an informal education, it's a free, it's a learning process from child to adult. It's long life education. But formal education, they're taking the advantages of administration. You need to pay something before you jump up into the next stage, administration kind of things. And then number three, specially program education. The teacher was learn how to do it something. So when they teach you, or they teach the kids about mathematics, they should know how to solve that problem before they teach it. And then they know how to do it very well. And then number four, there is certain study time as it program. So some of the classes will be held from 7 to maybe 11 a.m., or some afternoon classes start from 10 to 2 p.m. So it's depend on the schools. And then number five, more formal teaching methods. As I said before, when you're doing some method in informal education, maybe like you don't need to be like very formal to your kids. You can be, very friendly to them, showing them how to do it very clearly with attention. But informal method, the teacher, it's not really, having relationship with their kids, and just they just do it for all of the kids like in the same way. Number six, there's a systematic evaluation. So they grade the child, they giving some score. If they didn't pass any scores, then they can't jump up to the next level kind of things. And number seven, organized by government and private. So this is formal and non-formal education difference. Next, we will learn about advantages and disadvantages of informal education. The advantages first. So the advantage of informal education, there is number one, there's no limitation of the place and time. Education can take place anywhere, anytime. As I said before, it's a long life education. Informal education, they can learn here. They can learn in their grandma house, or they can learn in their, mm, neighbor, or maybe in their schools, anywhere, anytime, as they see you doing something, as they learn from it, and then they taking it as a behavior or something that they need to do, like ethic or moral. Number two, how to apply it to children is more flexible and can adapt. So every children has their own, mental health, mental growth. So they has very different, you know, kind of like example, like one kid is, very easily cry, one kid is strong enough, kind of like. So it's very flexible, like they do it very well with it, like if the parents know, so the parents know how to handle it. And then number three, to learn and apply it according to ability and willingness. So the kids should be willing, so it should be has willingness to do it something. You can't push them, so it's depend also on their ability. As example, as I said before, you can't tell them how to ride a bike in the first year of their life. So you need, so the parents know that already, and they not doing that, but they teach them, and then maybe walking first or crawling first, and then eating something with texture first before they do something more. And then become a more investment in children for the long term. This is something that very important that parents need to know. When you're doing something and they take it as a behavior, and it will be very difficult to stop it or to change a behavior that you have been do it, or you have. So when you do it something really nice behavior, then it will be really nice behavior for the kids too. They will not change it very easily. But if it's a bad behavior, it's very hard to change it. That's why parents need to aware about something, or they do something they said or something they do. And then number five, control over the children is easier. As the age, they know very well about their kids, and then they can control everything, like how the kids behave and ethic. And then the disadvantages of informal education is number one, this does not have any specific reference or standard. So like I said before, every children, every parents, they have very unique way to do it something. So one kids with another kids, they don't have the same behavior, they don't have the same moral, they don't have the same ethic, they don't have the same behavior. So this is the things, like disadvantages, because some of the parents could be very well in teaching, but some of them it's not, but they're very well in maybe sport or kind of like physical attraction. This is some things that every parents has their way to do it. And then number two, the existence of various social function and environment background, so that it can be have a positive or negative effect on children. As an example, if a child have their parents, some kids is lucky to have parents, and some of them they not have parents. So the environment where they grow up, it's also very very you know have the effect on their growing. So when they are growing, and they have parents who take care of them and aware of something that they like or don't like, how to deal with them. But some of kids, they don't have maybe parents, or maybe they live with their grandparents or sister or brothers, and then they didn't take care enough about the kids. Then this is the things that make it also like difference between one kids and another kids. Next. Okay, so that's all regarding my presentation, and I would like to give a conclusion. So informal education is the basic of education, any kind education. The roots is informal education. To bring your kids to the formal or non-formal education, they should know about informal education. They should have behavior, they should have mental growth, they should have physical growth, they should have very really good like ethic, religion. They should know about that kind of thing. So in the first few years of their life or the kids life, they should have really good care or aware from their parents to build their behavior. When the kids have the good behavior and ethic, anywhere, everywhere they do the formal or non-formal education, it will be very easy for them. So that's all about my presentation. Thank you very much. And before I end this presentation, I would like to say Paramasanti, Om Santi, Santi, Santi Om. Thank you so much.